like I'd mentioned before, if you just offset these faces just a tiny bit, it will show them as you can see the hard edges. So you know, it kind of looks like a panel line or whatever. And so I'll probably add a couple of these polygons back in just because they work for that reason. I'm gonna actually dissolve some of these. I'm not real happy how this door looks still. It's kind of not good. But pretty soon I'm gonna call the model done and move on to the next phase of unwrapping. But I just want to do a little bit more cleaning up of this part of the model. So I'm gonna go and dissolve this edge, and I'm gonna cut this. Whoops! I'm gonna cut this one straight across, and add that as a sharp edge. And like I showed you before, I need to just offset these a little bit to inside or outside. I'm going to do this one out. And you see it shows that hard edge. Now I gotta add some more sharp edges. And I don't like that on the bumper still. I still feel like some places, like I mentioned, I want to have that rounded look. So on this side of this goop thing, I'm going to make a sharp edge. And on the inside of this light, one thing that I haven't added, that I probably will add later after this demo, is there's a side on any sort of Winnebago or RV like this. There's like a second side door for where the passengers would go, and I would add it on this side here. But since I'm doing this model as a mirrored of itself along the x-axis, I won't add that till later. It's just easy to work on it in whatever the most symmetrical form is. Feels like Friday for some reason. I don't really. What's that? Sing a Friday song. Oh my god. I don't know if I know any good Friday songs. I'm gonna continue this horizontal detail again. Sometimes it's just easier to cut it in and then clean it up, which is what I'm doing here. Alright, maybe one more. I don't see there being a big problem with that. They're not killing my poly count. This guy is now 4. I don't know exactly where are we at for tries. Oh, it's 2300 total, it looks like. That's not bad. I'll probably need to knock it down a little bit, maybe. But I won't bother with that right now, since nobody wants to see me pecking away at polygons. Except for Chris and Sean. Oh god. He doesn't want to see my pecking. Whoa! This is a family event. Whoa. Someday my daughter's going to watch this video. What is she going to think? Alright, so... Oh my god, someone left because of that comment. Oh, I'm so mad at myself! Come back! Viewer 21, come back! I don't know where my boundaries are, okay? I'm new to this whole thing. I'm new to this whole thing. Think. Oh, goodness. I'm having a good chuckle to myself. Past the watershed. It's past the watershed at noon here, so it's well past the watershed. Beer boy! I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to or not, but that's what I was referring to. What am I missing now? I need a door handle, and I can steal that off of something, maybe? Maybe not. I need to do my sweet rims, and I need to do this jet engine in the back. Looking dope. I know it's bad form to call your own stuff looking dope, but I'm just saying it for entertainment purposes, really. I'm not trying to jinx myself. Mm-hmm. 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 Swizzle. Dun 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 pum pum pum. I wonder if like Jake Kaufman will ever let me hum on one of the songs. Just like hum the theme song to something. Just to be awesome. It's like I'm very gifted at humming. Very gifted. I just need my big chance. I need a little break, that's all. I'll show him. I'll show him. Oh my gosh, this polygon is driving me nuts. Mr. Z, why are you always in my way, man? Good Lord. Just getting in my way. Techno Babble. Yes, the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack is one of the main things that brought us to Jake Kaufman for Race the Dead. I kind of knew the moment Chris pointed out that URL to his Bandcamp that it was destined to be. Alright, I had to fix this door. It's bugging the poop out of me. I don't even really think it should be bumped out like that. It's kind of dumb. Okay, that's a bit better. It's not as lame. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, I need a couple more lights in the front here. Let me grab these things here and copy them down. There. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. 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 I'm gonna be drawing for a long time. Did you do me a favor? Get me a glass of water, warm this up, and put some creamer in it? Thanks. Hi, Phoenix. My sweet little baby girl. She had to get her vaccinations this week, and she's a little under the weather, and it's sad. She's such a little sweetheart, but she's a little cranky, unfortunately. But also more cuddly, which is really nice for me, because she doesn't like her dad so much. Well, she doesn't like me as much as she likes you. It could be because of the whole boob thing, but maybe. I mean, that's just a guess. It's just a guess. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, I think we're getting there. I think I just need to go for those hubcaps. Thank you, Jessica. Oh, shoot. All right. Thank you. Oh. All right. So, switching on to the wheels. Mm-hmm. 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 Alright, now these ones I need to get some serious photo reference from because I want to make these look like the A-Team wheels. They're these badass mags, or the red and black. I don't know if they're called mags on a car, but that's what I'm calling them. That's what I'm calling them. Where internets, give me a good photo. I would prefer a photo of the real thing. Well, this picture of the van doesn't look as awesome as I thought it would. Well, that's just a poor picture, I guess. Alright. Okay, well, I think I'm going to have to just make my own magical version that captures the way I feel like it looks. Alright, I'm going to hide this. Some of this stuff is distracting the crap out of me. Let's see. So, let's see. Wait. I'm trying to remember now. Jessica and I just started watching a new show on Netflix. remember the name of it because it was pretty good. Uh, what is the show that we just started watching? Oh, Hemlock Grove. I don't know if anyone else is watching that show, but pretty neat so far. The first episode was pretty intriguing. A lot of kind of interesting characters and possibilities on the first episode. I'm interested in seeing more. I don't know if they're producing more episodes of that show or not. There's 2 seasons on Netflix, and I think that Famke Janssen's character was a little bit I don't know why they gave her a British accent, although I don't actually know if she is English or not, but I didn't really think that her accent was very believable. So I'm hoping that she is not British, because that would be kind of weird. That was kind of a surprise. But I like the horror aspect of it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of American Horror Story, where there's just, a lot of interesting elements tied in with the horror. It's interesting though, in the very opening, it's kind of unsettling, but some of the female characters in the first 5 minutes of the show, 5 to 10 minute show of the show, they showed like 4 different female characters, and they were so poorly designed and outfitted that they all looked the same. It was kind of weird. My wife and I were both like, wait, is this the same person or is this somebody else? And I hope that doesn't continue as sort of this like shiny like high school glam magazine kind of depiction of women in that show. At least in that setting, it was, I don't know, kind of weird. I want to see True Blood. I am hoping that that comes to Netflix someday, because that will be the only way I watch it. No, actually, I forgot. I gotta ask Chris if he'll let me borrow his Prime account. I think that it's on Amazon Prime. Alright, well, I think that these wheels are going to be good. I'm going to adjust that rim, because there's a kind of a delicate balance for the look of these tires, but some of the rim I'm gonna paint in, so you can't quite see. Like this hard edge here is the inner part of the rim, and then there's gonna be some more red on the outside of it. So I think I'll get that balance of rim versus tire right. The other thing too is I want this sort of kind of squatty look of the A-Team van, but at the same time it's a Winnebago too, so the wheels need to be sort of set in a little bit, so have that kind of wobbly look to it, but I don't know exactly what that balance is. Oh yeah, that's right, I was going to steal some stuff from the bottom of the bus. Alright, I'm going to see what I need to fit in there. I like this some of this stuff. I don't even know if I'm going to use it, but I'm going to steal it for now. Cool. Probably won't need it. But then again, like, in the 80s, like, every vehicle had to turn over at least once. And so, I mean, that's why I'm advocating for modeling the undersides of all the vehicles, because we need to throw them off jumps all of the time. I haven't really talked to Chris and Sean about this at length, but it's got to happen. Right. That's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know if I want to even have any detail onto the underside here. None of our other cars really do. It's just kind of textured in, so we'll have to see. I always just imagine the Dukes of Hazzard, where like every episode they had cars jumping off stuff going into the swamp. I don't know. Yeah. And I'm just taking these polygons out. What a waste. That's fine. It's fine. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Well, I think this model is done for now. I think I'm gonna start doing some texture mapping. Sweet. Well, I'm gonna go take a break. Maybe we'll repost on Twitter to try to rustle up some more viewers. But I'm gonna jump back on here in a minute. I'm seriously gonna try to get a first pass on all of this stuff. So if you're in it for the long haul, I'm gonna be here for a while. It's hard for me to quit. I gotta go use the bathroom. Oopsie, now how'd that happen? Oh, not what I wanted. Okay. Sweetness. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go take a break. Is there a periscope? Well, maybe there should be a periscope. I mean, it's got everything else, right? Let's see. Oh, is that's, see, someone's got a better memory than I do. Up periscope. Up periscope. We're not putting you in the credits, Ellen. Well, maybe we are. I had to look up a picture of periscope. Yeah. Uh, mm. to spend any time doing this. Let's see. Oh my gosh, guys. This week, coming Monday, Sean and Chris are going to let me out of my cage for a little few hours. And I'm going to go see one of my favorite, or probably my favorite band ever play live in Dallas. I'm so excited. Yeah, I get to go see Coheed and Cambria. It's going to be so amazing. So amazing. I'm excited. I've been wanting to see them in concert for quite a while. I've seen them before, but it was many years ago. And they put out a number of awesome albums since then. So I've been dying to see them live, and I missed them when they were in Chicago. It's just to show direction. They're not handlebars. Jesus. God, Sean. Yeah. Alright, it's not a hatch, but fine, Sean. Just fine. Whatever you say. Oh, crud. Oh, Lord. Helen, why'd you have to complicate things? Gosh. That doesn't look like a circle. I know why. Ka-ching! That looks more like a circle. Alright, enough fiddling with this stupid thing. God. What a detour. I'll probably go back to that later on and fix it up some more. I'm not really that happy with it. Whatever. You guys want to see me move on to something else. I want to see UV mapping. I can hear you guys scream. It's so exciting. UV mapping. Alright, that's it. No more features. No more features. Alright guys, I'm gonna go take a break. I'm going to probably go stumble and fall onto a beer or two. I'm only going to be gone for a couple of minutes. I'm going to use the bathroom and grab something to drink and bring it back to my desk. I'm going to go beer and coffee at the same time. No, that's a lie. I'm going to finish my coffee first. Bye, see you later. Thanks for stopping by. I'm back. I'm back. 'Cause I'm back, and I'm back, y'all. 'Cause I'm back, y'all. 'Cause I'm biggity, biggity, biggity back, y'all. Oh, I don't have my mic on. That was the wrong. Aha, here we are. I put the wrong headphones on. Need one with a microphone. Mhm, 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 mhm. All right. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put a screenshot up. I'm gonna make another post. I'm gonna make another post on the Twitters. One of my few favorite tools in Windows, the snipping tool. A rectangular snip. Clang, chink. Copy that. My bucket of coffee is getting low. Almost time to switch to the beers. Oh my God, could you be any slower? Please don't, that was just a joke. I don't want you to be slower. Right. I'm gonna quick paint something on here. Color. Oh my God, why are you being such a jerk? Oh yeah. And then we're gonna have green rams too. Oh yeah. Ooh, actually I kinda like that little droopy effect. That might be interesting. Maybe not, we'll see. I really am not liking the periscope right now. We'll see. This isn't a very good view of the truck actually either. This is sort of a little bit truncated angle. Maybe I need to make it longer. I still haven't gone in and stretched the proportions yet, so I may do that. I'll probably do that later. Anyways, for now, we'll just post what I have. Okay. The Twitters. Uh-huh. writing a tweet right now. I'm almost done. Okay. Let's hope I didn't. Oh, I did. God bless me, I'm so dumb. Oh, I forgot to attach my picture. That was the whole point. I don't know how to get to my old tweets. That stinks. Oh, well, yeah, I know. Going to just Twitter is a pain in my ass. Criminally. I know how to do it. I know I can go. I can view my tweets in TweetDeck too. It's so lame though. I'll retweet my own tweet. That's always brave. Add image. Alright. Oh, now I'm out of letrars. Alright guys, let's get back to it. Let's do it to it. Make the AC unit flip open, the periscope come out of there. Yep. Maybe. Alright. So here comes one of the most dreaded parts of 3D graphics, for some people at least. It's the UV mapping. So what I need to do is set this model up so that it can receive a texture map. And by default, this vehicle doesn't have any information about its surface, at least not the computer knows, which I always found to be strange. I always kind of wondered why there wasn't some sort of automatic surfacing of models, because it has to be drawn. So it seems to me that the computer already knows about the surface to some degree. But anyways, so what I have to do is break apart the surface of this truck into a manner that makes it easy for me to paint, as well as efficient for the game. And luckily this is a fairly simple model, so it's gonna be pretty easy to do. This is fairly box shaped, so I can get away with doing a lot of fairly simple commands. I don't have to do a lot of unwrapping of complex shapes. So I am going to stop spinning my model around because I know that makes people dizzy, but I'm going to I'm going to add a sphere really quick so you can kind of get an idea of some of the considerations when you're adding a texture map to a model. Alright, so I'm going to add this sphere. And I am going to make a new material for it. And so, like I mentioned, by default it doesn't have any usable data as far as the surface is concerned. And here you can see it's just kind of a blank grid. Now, what I can do is set an unwrap. I'll probably just do there's all kinds of different ways I can start out, but I'm going to just do cube projection, and then so you can see it now has exploded the surface information out onto this page layout. Now there are a few different ways. Some of the concerns for any UV mapping is we don't want the texture to be stretching. And I'll show you an example of what that looks like. I need to add a new image. I'm going to make it a UV grid. Okay. Now, in this, on the viewport here, you can see a number of different things. You can see, this is sort of dark right here. I'll move this light over. You can see that there are these seams where the texture map is non-continuous, and we don't really want that. You don't want to have these seams all over the place, because for one, the main thing is that they're hard to cover. So let me show you. So I want to reduce the number of seams, and we'll try that. And I'll do a more simple unwrap, and you can see some of the problems. Oopsie. Okay, so this is an automatic unwrap using just one seam down the back here. And what you can see now is that this uniform image with the surface data unwrapped like this has all kinds of stretching. See this? We want all of these squares to be a uniform size. So the effects that has, I'll put a different texture on here so you can kind of see some of the stretching happening. This is not a very good example. The grid is actually very good, but you can see here now in this image, this headlight is a fairly small detail on the car, and the opposite headlight, which is on the opposite side, which should be the same size, is small compared to the one on this side. So we really want to figure out a way to make these uniform across the whole object without doing too much work. It's more effort when you have a complex shape like a sphere or a face, but we have different tools for dealing with it, and there's some amount of stretching that is acceptable. So I'm going to go in here, make another seam, unwrap it again. I'm going to go back to that grid texture, and you can see that with just setting another seam, we've kind of reduced that stretching. On a sphere, we want to add a couple of simple seams on the top and the bottom. to reduce most of the stretching. So now we're getting close to an entirely uniform surface. Now I can also remove this seam here. It's all about perception of that stretching. You can work around it. It's not always that big of a deal, and you want to put the seams where people can't see them. So I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap this one more time with just one seam, and this is an automatic unwrap, so you can see that it's fairly even across the entire thing. And there's other things we can do to kind of clean this up using these automatic tools. That will give us more of an even unwrap. So that's just an example of how we might go about doing that. And like I mentioned, on a boxy object like a car, we should have an easier time of this. Let's see what happened. I don't want my light deleted. Okay. Yeah, D-Man 3D, filling the UV map page is one of the most time-consuming things of the entire process, which is why I dislike it. Not because I find the UV mapping itself, the unwrapping, to be any particular challenge. It's the tedium of trying to get it all to fit onto a page. But there's sickos like you that revel in that kind of garbage. Jeez, sicko. All right. There's a number of automatic tools that we can use when unwrapping an object like this, like I showed you. But I'm going to start off I'm just going to control the process because it's just going to be much easier that way. So let's see. How do I want to do this? Yeah, D-Man 3D, I think that this is not going to be the best demo of UV mapping, mainly because, like I mentioned, this model is so simple. You're not going to see any great feats of unwrapping. Alright, so what I've done here is I've selected the faces that mostly are along this side of the truck. And that's good because we can just go to this side view like this, and we can select UV mapping project from view. And all that does is it aligns the UV data to the view, and I'll show you what that looks like right now. It looks like that, exactly how it looks like over here. And that's the easiest kind of UV mapping that you're going to run into. Just do a snapshot of one side, and that's great. That's that's the kind of UV mapping that most people live for, just simple. Alright, so now I'm going to do the same thing with all of these front-facing. I also got to attach my brush guard there. Well, I'll do that in a second. So I just mapped it the front view. See, we got that. Move that to the side. I think I need to make this truck longer. It needs to be longer to be more like a Winnebago and less like a van. I know we're kind of doing a mix of the two, but I think it just needs to be. And I'll show you now. Now that let me quick save. Now I will add. Okay, so let me really quickly UV islands, average island scale. Alright, so you can see now that the squares that I'm using to kind of indicate the stretching are all uniform along the front and the side, which is what I want, right? That's awesome. Problem is, when I want to go elongate the cabin here, or okay, you can see that I get stretching. Some programs actually have tools to prevent that from happening sometimes when you move geometry around, but Blender doesn't have that. So we deal. So there's a couple of things I could do. I could just reproject it, or I just go in here like this and grab the back end of the truck and just manually realign it. I think in this case it would be better if I just reproject it. So I'm gonna, oopsie, select my faces in here, hide the rest of them, project them again, and now we have a nicely re-UV'd side. Okay. Oh, D-Man 3D. The only thing I said is that this is not going to be the most detailed demonstration of Blender's UV tools because this is a simple model. Alright, I'm going to select the top. I'm going to deselect a couple of these objects. View it from the top and project my UVs. Go ahead and move these out of the way. And go to the back. And see. Project. All right. All right. Select the bottom. Sweet. Awesome. All right. So in graphics lingo, each one of these separate chunks of the model are called UV islands. And since I unwrap them all separately, they're going to have different scales in relationship to each other. So what I'm going to do is use this average island scale again, and it brings all of the islands into closer relation in terms of scale. Yes, D-Man 3D, these streams we leave them on the Twitch channel until they expire, and then we also are uploading them to our YouTube channel for later viewing. I need to sweeten this up a little bit under here. Alright. One other thing that I didn't do with this model that I didn't show you guys because I don't really need to with this is we can set seams kind of like the hard edges. I can just select these edges along the model, and I can, I guess I did show you some seaming, but I didn't show you on this. So I mark seams, and what that does is it just automatically, when I'm using the automatic unwrapper, it's like it's like your seams on your clothing. It just defines where it will open it up if you do an automatic unwrap rather than unwrapping from a particular viewpoint. But I'm not going to use that because we're already pretty good here as far as the UV mapping goes. I'm going to just do an automatic unwrap here. You can see it. Just press the unwrap button. I'm going to average island scale again. Sweet. Alright, this is a nice and easy unwrap. Oh, you have them on your laptop? Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to listen in on your conversation. I'm such a jerk. Gosh. This over here, this polygon is stray. I didn't get unwrapped, so what I can do. Also, I should show you this. I'm going to clear out my seams. Select my UV islands, and I can go to here and say seams from islands. So it will automate creating those seams from whatever UV islands that I already have, which is good. I just kind of delete the seams that I don't need. Let's see, I want this to be part of the roof, and I want this to be part of the side, so I don't need those there. The other thing that allows me to do is I can select, I can also, let's see, clear out these seams. I'm going to make this bumper a little bit better. I'll show you some of the automatic unwrapping here. So adding seams in logical locations where the sort of like the real seams on an object would be is kind of the best way to do it. So right here I created a seam around the physical location of the bumper itself, and that allows me to something that doesn't look right there, extra vertice there. That allows me to unwrap the model and have more accurate mapping and less stretching without adding seams where they're hard to fix. So you can see this bumper, there were some stray, it's kind of broken up and there's some stray polygons that didn't get mapped correctly. So I split them off and I'm going to use the automatic unwrapping, and you can see, let's see, where am I running into problems here? There seems to be remove doubles. Okay, this. Oops. Okay. There's a little bit more stretching on the top there than there should be, but I don't know why that would be. Okay, well, whatever. And then there's always just the hand tweaking, wee hand tweaking. This is sort of a strange outcome. These stretching, this shouldn't happen on this simple of an object, but alright. And I always, again, every time I unwrap something individually, I always go back and average the island scale, so that brings them closer to the same size. And then I'm going to start bringing my objects, or my UV islands, in so that they're closer together on the UV page. I'm also going to start looking for some more problematic parts and add some more seams where it makes sense. So I like this stretching here along the side. I don't like it. It's unnecessary. It's not that bad. I mean, on a low-res model like this one, it's gonna not be hard to hide. We don't really need to paint a lot of detail on there, but all I have to do is add a seam, and I can fix that real quick. Clear seam here. I think this is a good idea. I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not, but okay. So I'm going to do something else. I was going to do something. I was going to make well, anyways, I don't need to describe what I was going to do. Mark seam. Now I'm going to clear this one back out. And alright. Okay. So there. Now you can see when I select this back section, these are all the parts that are connected without a seam. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin the parts that I like, which is this stuff right here. I think that's a good unwrap, so I'm going to pin that. And then I'm going to let the automatic unwrap fix up the stretching some. And then I can go back in and I'll fix that a little bit more by hand. There's also a tool to show the stretching. So the lighter blue is where the stretching is happening, and so if I want to clean that up, it's just a different way to visualize the stretching. Anyways, so there's that. And sometimes you just want to, like have things be straight just so that they're easier to paint, so you don't really care about the stretching, right? So this top part, I just want this to be straight. It will be fine if there's a little bit of stretching, because we don't care, won't notice it. Alright, so those, and we also want these all to be on the same axis, so that's awesome. Okay. Let's save that, select all my UVs again, and I'm going to go ahead and average island scale. Hi Kid Jump 94, who are you, if I may inquire? Again, there are certain parts of the roof that I like. I'm going to just pin them down. I'll do an unwrap, and well, this is not making me happy. This unwrapping is not it's not working right. It is not working right. It should not be having. It shouldn't. The automatic unwrapping should not. It should not have that stretching in there. I don't like it. Oh, I know why. There's a scale on the model. I've never known the scale to matter, but I guess it does. So I need to apply the scale. Apply rotation and scale. And I bet you anything. Yes, fixed. That's why I've been having this problem. There was a scale on the model and it didn't. It was adjusting the UVs to the scale. So now you can see that it took care of that stretching. I love that. Phew, I was wondering why it was being so crappy. See that? That's before I took out, or what it looks like before I took out the scale, and then I just hit the unwrap button and it fixed that up. Okay, that's what I've been expecting to see. Nice. Okay, excellent. I'll see if there's another spot down here we can try that on. Alright. Alright, down here in this scoop, what I'm going to do is pin most of these because I really like the way it looks. It looks nice and even. I'm going to pin those guys. And actually I think I'm going to I'm going to deselect this headlight because it will affect this whole area too much. And so I'm going to unwrap those, and it did a pretty good job. I'm going to pull it, let's see, whoops, pull these down to get rid of a little bit more of the stretching. I'm going to go here and let's see. I think that looks good. I'm not going to adjust some of this stuff because I think it's better off if I don't. Oh yeah. Let me see. Oh, cool. Thanks for stopping by, Kid Jump 94. I'm happy to see people. Oh, did you just find out about our Kickstarter today, or was that before today? I just kind of wondering, where people are coming from. I'm gonna put this, no, alright. I think, okay, a few more things I gotta unwrap and then I can start painting, which is really awesome. Usually this process takes quite a bit longer because of the unevenness of the UV, so I gotta fix this top part. Again, I like to lock down anything that I feel is good, which really in this particular case is only this top one. And I hit the unwrap button. Sweet. I think this bit needs to be fixed some more. Alright, looking good. Alright, so just a few of these extra objects need a little straightening out. And then we got to get the tires on there. These guys, I'm just going to blast from the back, line up my view, UV map, project from view, boom, done. Those are just simple things that don't need a lot of detail, so I'm just going to be happy with that. Save me some time. This one here, what I'll do is align my view up, project it from view. I'm going to switch to, I'm going to pin it. I'm going to select the rest of it, unwrap it. Ooh, I didn't like that. Oh, because there's an underside. Okay, it won't work that well that way. So I got to deselect that underside. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna... Okay. That's good. Select this underside bit here. Unwrap it. Unwrap it. Alright. Isolate this engine here. Let's see, where is that? There's a stray edge there. Oh yeah. So on this object, I'm gonna, well, let's see, let's see. Alright, I'm going to cut it with a seam. Okay. And you know what? I'm gonna go like this, unwrap it, pin it, select the rest, unwrap it, boom. Alright, now I'm just gonna straighten these out. Doosh. Doosh. And I got a good unwrap. So these kind of wavy marks, or wavy lines are problematic when you're trying to draw straight lines, but I'll probably just avoid doing that here. Gesundheit. Boom. This back looks good. Okay, so I got the underside here to look at. Oh yes, the wheel wells need to be blasted. You know, I'm just going to do these from the side because they're not very important. Oh no, I'll do like an angle like this. Project from view. Awesome. Let's see. I'm gonna join the wheels and the undercarriage. So they're all part of one happy family. I'll split them off again after I'm done here. Ooh boy. Okay. Oh, there is my spare tire. Huh. That almost got forgotten. Poor thing. Poor thing. Oh, that's unusual. I used that's not that awesome. I used an uneven number of faces on my wheel, which makes it difficult to mirror, but I can fix that. Right? Circle. Circle. Awesome. Oh, crud. And I am gonna do unwrap. So here's an awesome feature I can show you. It's not very, this is not the best example of it, but one thing I can do is, oops, let's see. Pin an end, pin it somewhere else. I can turn on live unwrap, and you can watch it as the algorithm works in real time. And sometimes it's very useful to use. Sometimes it's not all that useful. Anyways, I'll turn that off. It's more useful on complex meshes, like faces and hands. Hey, hon. One moment, friends. Hey, Jessica. Could you do me a favor? In a glass, please. Thank you, honey. Sometimes making all of these faces uniform will make it easier to paint, so that's why I might do this. Get it all nice and uniform. Even though if that adds a little bit of stretching, it's still better for the painting aspect, so that's okay. There's a trade-off with everything. Okay, wow. I think you got the wheels and undercarriage, and then we're done. Well, I guess we have one more step, which is to lay everything out onto the UV page. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. So let's see, I only need to UV map one of these wheels, so I'll just start with this one since I have it selected. I project it from view, which will work great for this case. The other parts of the wheel are already UV mapped. Same thing for the undercarriage here, those UVs are already good. So I have, let's see, I don't think I actually want to disturb these UV maps on here, actually. So until, let's see, no, that's fine. Until I'm ready to deal with them, I'm going to separate them. But I will go here and delete this front wheel. Wait, let's see, don't want to do that yet. No. Yeah, I'll delete this front wheel because I don't need two wheels at the moment. Alright. So, let's see. I'll do some really quick UVs on these things. Let's see, I don't know what else we got. What else do we got? I think we're good. I want to be done. Okay. Unlike some people named D-Man3D, I do not gain sick pleasure from doing UV mapping. Alright. Average island scale. Now I'm gonna scale everything down and start placing it on map here. So what I could do is do an automatic pack islands, and then I can adjust the margins, pack margins, and it does an alright job. You know, it all depends on what you're trying to do. This sort of thing is great for certain types of objects. In this case, I might just work with it as a base and not do too much more editing, because guys don't want to see this, because it's a tedious aspect. But what I'll do is, like, so that automatic layout, which is great, it did reposition some of my parts in a way that aren't very amenable to painting. So I'm going to go in here and rotate this side view of the truck so that it is facing a direction that's easier to paint. Actually, I might flip it over the opposite direction. Oh shoot, I made a spill on my keyboard. Pants make a good towel. Wee-haw. Alright. Some aspects of the model you don't necessarily need as the same size on the page as everything else. So like the undercarriage of the vehicle can be scaled down by I don't know, like go by half. It could be even smaller. It depends. It's really not going to be seen very much. So I'll scale that down, move it out of the way a little ways. Some things like the back of the wheel. In this case, I might just make it overlap with the front of the wheel, and then it shares the same texture. So you have to be careful when you do that. You need to move it up off of the map space by one entire distance, so the distance of the map, so 124, or sorry, 1024 pixels up. That's I think almost every program works like that. This is a 0 to 1, so this is, you know, a 1 to 2 space. Yeah, anyways, I won't go into any more technical details there, but this is the back side, and I want to rotate that around so it's easier to paint. You know, at this point also, you know, depending on what you're doing, you might want to collapse the mesh so that you know, you don't have everything mirrored across, because sometimes it's you know, that symmetry is too garish and it doesn't look good. So, but in this case, I think the symmetry is fine. It's a mechanical object, and it won't be so noticeable. So like here's the wheel wells. I want to bring these over here. It's also, if you can manage it, laying out the pieces in more of a logical manner, as they would on the actual model, it's very helpful, because then when you're painting, you don't have to look around, you know, to find the part on the map that correlates to what you're painting. That, you know, if there's multiple parts. So you always kind of want to look for other parts of the model that are also kind of unimportant and can be scaled down, so the more important parts can be enhanced and made larger. But really everything around on this model, you know, you're sort of going to want to be a decent size, or at least the same size. All right, so the other thing too is like details like this door. You might want to actually separate from the main body so that there is a seam, because there is a physical seam there. So why are you doing that? What do we got selected here? Ooh, there's a stray little something here. Okay. So I need to unwrap that little face. That's a stray little face. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just scale this down ever so slightly. So now that when I paint, there is actually a physical separation between the door and the cab. I mean, that's a useful, I mean, like I'm saying is basically sometimes you really want there to be a real hard edge between some of these details. Like I'm going to do the same thing with the window here. I'm going to actually separate the window, this window. Especially if you have limited texture resolution, that's also a very helpful thing to do. So you zoom in here, you can see what that looks like. And you know, you have to allow, we call it pixel bleed. Well, when the texture is resized by anything, there can be blurring between the pixels, and if there isn't enough space between here and here, there can be like the color from the side of the vehicle bleeding onto the edge of the window, and we don't want that, so you have to kind of give it enough of a margin. And it depends on the resolution of your image and where it's going to be scaled to as to how you calculate that. I'm just eyeballing it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do this for all these details, because I want there to be a hard seam. Okay. Alright. I'm going to do this one too. Alright. Sometimes it's a bit overwhelming trying to figure out just exactly what all of these parts are when you're just looking at it from this view. The other thing too that's a little disconcerting is I'm used to using two monitors, and so I have my UV layout on one monitor and my model on another, and so it's a little bit easier to manage. And I've been working that way for a lot of years, so that's I guess I'm a little spoiled, right? But monitors are so cheap nowadays that it's alright. I'm going to join my undercarriage back, I think. Yeah. So I wish there was a way to, well, never mind. This is the slow part. Can we fit everything on there? Probably. And then I want to turn off this UV grid because it's making me go blind. So this would be kind of a good idea, is like just for organizational sake. I select all the parts that go to the front, and I move them right here so that the front corresponds with the front. looks like the scale's a little off. There we go. And again, just to make things a little bit more one-to-one. We could also, if we wanted to, and I'm not going to do this just because, I could scooch this over and I could actually stitch this seam up so that it's easier to paint across. But it's okay. For this particular model, it's not necessary and may actually cause problems. So we got that. I guess I'm gonna not do the back because it won't fit, but that's okay. We just start with just having to, they'll tuck little parts in wherever they'll fit. I've got some duplicate objects on the sheet. Again, like these lights. I don't need to have two different, I don't need to paint two different lights. They can be the same thing. So the easiest thing to do is just to delete them from the model for the time being. It's the easiest thing to do. I don't. Let's see, what is this piece here? What? Oh. Oh, okay, so that's sad. I blew up the wheel. Alright, so the wheel I actually had nice and organized before. Oh, that stinks. Well, it's not a big deal. What I had is, I had them all using one bit of tread, and now I have to go back and overlap them again. I was wondering what these little guys were. So you can eyeball these. Let's see, Christopher. If it's not too much for your brain, I know you're concentrating on things, can you maybe put on some music? My brain is just frizzle fried. Something 80s would be alright. Or whatever, you know, whatever you want to put on, man. Something a little bit more exciting. Like a little techno or electronics or something. Electronica. Oops. Alright, so I got the wheel back in order. It doesn't need to be loud. Chris knows how to play to my heartstrings. Little Tears for Fears. Right. If the music is too loud, let me know. We'll turn it off or turn it down. Mm -mm 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 -mm. Oh. Whenever you do the automatic unwrap, you have to hide the stuff that's not pinned or you don't want to affect it because it will affect it. Alright. I was just trying to get the stray polygon in there fixed. Oh my gosh, this is the worst. Okay, I got to try to fly through this. So let's bear with me. Actually, let's see. This would be one of those cases where I'm gonna separate this model, this part of the model, and I'm gonna collapse the mirror. So let's see, so I want on the back of this, I want some kind of design that's not that mirrored across. So I'm gonna unwrap it. Oops. Yeah, this is an inconsistency in Blender. It sort of drives me nuts. It's U to unwrap in this view, and it's E in this view. I don't know why the hell that is, because in this view, there is no use for the U key. So why don't they just make it E? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. You know, some questions just shouldn't be asked. The only, yeah, so I am partaking in one of Texas's inventions, which is the Shiner beer, the Shiner Bock. It's pretty decent. I like it in a tall, cold glass. I had it out of a can. I'm not a fan. Alright. I got to see Tears for Fears in California a bunch of years ago. It was awesome. It was totally an old people concert. But it was so awesome. It was at a winery